We're in the countdown to Tariff Day. Let's talk about it on the weekly update.
Okay, friends, let's talk about the countdown to tariffs. Here's what you need to know. First up, April 2nd draws closer, but some hints about the outcome are showing. And what I'm speaking about here is we've got Donald Trump's so-called Liberation Day, where he talks about, putting reciprocal tariffs on, all these sorts of goods that we import into the country. And the early signs that I am seeing, and I'm actually glad that this CNN article came out, this looks like yet another tariff retreat. Now, this should be surprising to no one who was alive in 2016, that Donald Trump talks very big, but the actual execution of the things that he talks about is relatively minor. And I think that's what we're setting up for here as well. And we can use the president's own words to sort of suss out that outcome. Following a cabinet meeting Monday, Trump said tariffs on a variety of products will be announced in the very near future. Then later Monday afternoon, Trump said, "We might give a lot of countries breaks. We might be even nicer than that," Trump added. So what he's doing here is, I think this is very similar to the first Trump administration. I think he's sort of digging for sound bites here. I don't think he actually wants to put on tariffs and actually cause economic impairment. Trump still said he was hesitant to issue carve-out on tariffs. I think this is just kind of like negotiation, brinksmanship a little bit. But he acknowledged in the past that tariffs enacted with a sledgehammer instead of a scalpel can at times inflict undue harm on Americans and U.S. interests. Hey, that's pretty good. So he knows what he's playing with here. We'll take that. "I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word," Trump said Friday. "So there'll be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal," he added, noting that most tariffs will simply match foreign countries' taxes dollar for dollar with no carve-outs. Meanwhile, and this is the important part of this article, negotiations are ongoing. The EU last Thursday postponed its retaliatory tariffs, which were set to go into effect April 1st as talks continue. That's an important tell. So we've got Trump sort of walking back his rhetoric. On the EU side, it looks like they're trying to walk back from the precipice as well. Mexico and Canada delayed plans to retaliate against the US as officials negotiate. So what this tells us is, Trump's kind of like a figurehead here. He's sort of saying, hey, this is the policy that I want to enact. I need some big, splashy sort of media announcements, and we're trying to avoid the actual economic pain. But the negotiations behind the scene, I think those are very interesting. And we've gotten numerous insights as to how those negotiations go, and they've been pretty fruitful. So not surprisingly, let's take a look at the market here. If you look at the market, here was our 50-day test. We let go. We came to the 200-day. If you remember, I mentioned, we'll probably go below the 200-day, maybe 3%, set in a lot of panic. And then from there, I think things might be pretty good. We're actually above the 200-day as of right now. So it looks like standing pat was correct. And I'm very happy that things went out this way because, it certainly felt like I was alone out there on a limb when I was giving this prediction when we were above the 200-day. Felt like I totally whiffed it at the lows, and that's always the way it goes. And I'm very happy with how we're developing here. And it looks to me like the market is braced for a lot of pain here, but we may see, if we get some relief on this tariff thing on the other side of April 2nd, I think that we might be setting ourselves up for a relief rally. So what does it all mean in the countdown to tariffs? Well, with options expiry out of the way, the market is now focusing on April 2nd, which is Tariff Day, or as Donald Trump would like you to call it, Liberation Day. You got to laugh at these things. If you don't, you'd be crying. I believe that the market is braced for pain. That's what the move down to the 200-day was telling us. But there are interesting signs that things may not be that bad. I actually think this is going to be a whole bunch of fire and fury in the news, but not a whole lot of actual economic stuff happening here. This would be very similar to the first Trump administration. April 2nd should decide the near-term direction of the market, but long-term won't be meaningful, just like the 2016 tariffs. And what I'm saying here is, companies can choose where their supply chain comes from. And so if we do go to the adverse scenario, if the tariffs come on and if they look extremely punitive, companies are just going to move production. The same way where companies set up factories today, right now, they'll just build different factories elsewhere. Remember that experience that we saw out of the tariffs on China, which never got repealed. And what happened? Well, factories and production just moved to other parts of Southeast Asia and different parts of the country, Canada, Mexico, etc. And so if we have to go through this process again, companies sort of have a playbook already. I think the market is taking the tariff threat seriously, and this opens us up for the possibility of a relief rally. One of the things that I like is how much the market is braced for pain here, how gloomy the clients are when they call me, how dour the market prognosticators are. All of that is good because the only time that you really get hurt in the market is at peaks of optimism. And I can absolutely promise you we are not at a peak of optimism as of right now. So there you go. There's the countdown to tariffs. I'm very excited to have this this news event behind us. And for my take right now, I think it's going to be a lot of fluff in the fullness of time. I think there might be, you know, a little bit, maybe one more panic spike as we get to April 2nd. Trump says they're coming on. Everybody freaks out. But I doubt whatever happens as of that point in time lasts more than a week or two. So I think we're getting there. I think we're almost through this corrective phase. I'll see you this weekend for the markets review. Take care.
Okay, friends, that was the video. Hope you liked it. If you found it informative, good, entertaining, I'd love if you could scroll down here beneath the video and give me a like there. It helps us out with the algorithm. And then if you want to be notified first of anything new that we upload to the channel, if you come over here, click subscribe, you'll be the first to know as soon as we upload anything. Appreciate it. See you soon.